Hi Sagittarius, and welcome to your monthly tarot reading for October. Thank you so much for joining me today, and this is a general reading that could help any sun, moon, or rising Sagittarius. Much glare. So, reflection and non-judgment. I want to key in on non-judgment because somewhere along the line, many of us we automatically judge, and it's hard to undo. I think it takes conscious thinking to look at someone for who they are and to leave out all of the extraneous information that you're getting or that you're inferring. To use non-judgment, to be open, to leave behind your bias. It's a real challenge to do so sometimes. However, the benefits are profound, and when you can just live and let live, and when you can be accepting of others, and when you come from the place of, as it says, reflection, when you look in the mirror and you look at your own life and think about how people may incorrectly judge you, they don't know you. And often when we meet people, or even when we have friendships and relationships with people, we really don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We really don't know the challenges and the depth that they face within their lives. So, I think a honorable goal is to try to be fair, to be reasonable, to be honest, to be balanced, instead of coming from a place with a preconceived notion where you already have made up your mind without listening to someone speak or without listening at all, judging right off the bat from the hip. I think it's a destructive practice. And so to be non-judgmental requires skill, and it requires deft handling, and to be sharp, and to always think about how am I interacting here? How am I engaging? What am I bringing into this discussion that may not be a positive? And in terms of reflection, I think when you look at yourself in the mirror and you really think about how you live your life, it requires honesty and awareness of self, where you can be honest with yourself and you can come from a place that it's just very real. So, if you've had a tough time where you've been a bit of a bear, own up to it and then let it go. Every day is a new day, so deal with it and then let it go on. But the hope is to try to interact with people just at face value with what you see and how they talk to you and what they bring to the table. Open, honest communication, being authentic, being real, being transparent in many ways. So it takes practice, I think, to do so, because of sometimes when you're brought up and things get into your head and you want to get them out of your head. So it takes time and energy and awareness to be able to do that, and awareness of how are you approaching this situation? What are you bringing to this discussion? So very interesting, very deep to think about and to explore. That could probably be a video on its own. So now let's take a look at the spiritual self, emotional self, of what these cards can share with us about the emotional component for the week. And it says, listen. You have to be willing to listen if you want to really understand someone. Now is not the time to be offering advice, but to be a compassionate listener. To listen fully and intently means to pay attention, not to just what's being said, to what lies beneath the words. Sometimes people have a hard time getting things off their chest or telling you about a situation within their life because there's pride involved perhaps, or they feel that they just can't get it out there. Maybe it's a sense of shame, or maybe something fabulous is happening and you're talking with someone who's maybe struggling, and so you want to keep it inside. But, to focus and to listen, being an active listener. And we teach students that in 3rd grade, to be an active listener. Your eyes are on the speaker. You're not talking, you're not moving, you're just listening and taking it in. It's a simple but highly effective, wonderful practice to do, which is to really listen to someone. And ultimately, that can be returned to you, where you can have the benefit of someone listening to you as well. So it's very powerful to be able to stop talking yourself and to take it in, whatever your companion or whoever's telling you something or sharing with you, experiences, anecdotes, hopes, dreams, to be quiet and to listen. There's a lot of power within this, and it certainly works in tandem with being non-judgmental and being open and receptive to discussions that are maybe challenging, discussions that may be joyous, discussions that may be emotionally draining. So listen. And let's take a look at the body for the week. Consult a nutritionist. Okay, so this week I turn my eating over to you and ask you to guide me to foods and beverages that taste good, are fulfilling, and support my ideal health and weight. And if you are in a position where you can't afford a nutritionist, or you can't, have it covered from a health plan or what have you, there's so much information online with respect to healthy diets. And one of the best places to start is, like, the U.S. government has some incredible free publications about, for women in menopause, for women and people in general, really thick books that are very, very helpful, give you sample diet plans, give you the information behind why you need to eat certain foods. And this is as I get articles forwarded to me about, again, I think I mentioned it last week, of finding Indian gooseberry, that it's one of the most beneficial fruits. To me, someone sends me an article and I investigate it, because nutrition is important. Whether it's finding medicinal mushrooms, you can get them in tablet form, or you could have a cup of mushrooms every day. They say that that's incredibly helpful to your immune system. So there are all these little pieces of information out there that all you have to do is look for it. Another suggestion would be, in addition to consulting with a nutritionist, is that if you have friends that are really good with their diet, who are eating all the greens and the colorful fruits and vegetables and lean meats and such, or soy products, find out how they do it. Are they cooking their foods on the weekend? Are they meal prepping? Are they shopping fresh? Or, what is it that they're doing that makes them successful? Because it takes time to plan accordingly for food and to eat well. It takes time to sit down to think about what you're going to cook for the week, what you're going to bring to work. And it's again, nutrition feeds the cells, it feeds your brain, and giving it crummy food or unhealthy food is not in your best interest. And so to find balance, you have to feed your body right. You have to do things in moderation. If you like to drink, have a drink, but don't overdo it. If you like French fries, you don't have to restrict French fries, just limit the amount of French fries you want in your life. And again, with coffee, I'm gonna have a cup of tea here. With coffee, some reports say coffee is fantastic. Other reports say limit the amount that you have. Caffeine is detrimental. You can find source data on all nutrition, and then you make your decisions for your lifestyle and how you can make it work for you. But again, I would say to make wholesale changes to totally turn your diet upside down in 1 or 2 days may not be the best road to success. But if you do one small thing for the week, like pass by the chocolate chip cookies or the candies, and with Halloween in the US coming up, it's like try not to have the candies at home and snacking on them because they add up. So, there's a lot. So this is a week. Pay attention to your diet. Do some meal prepping. Look online. There are many free websites that have great skinny meals where they've made them healthy and delicious. So now I'd like to pull a card as a practice area, in addition to practicing listening and thinking about your diet and reflecting and being non-judgmental. Signs from heaven. Thank you, heaven, for sending me reminders of your presence. So maybe this is a nice reminder to remember someone who was past that had meaning in your life, that made you happy, and all it could take would be sitting down with a cup of coffee and thinking about a happy time or a pleasant memory, and taking that good feeling, that good, warm, nostalgic feeling, and bringing it to center. Signs from heaven. Sometimes we can be oblivious, but I think that there are signs every day that people are out there watching and maybe gently kind of sending you some signals, like to take care of yourself. Heavenly aspects and the universe and divine source, they want the humans to be happy. They want us to feel happiness and fulfillment and contentment and love for all. And so think past this. Think of someone in your past who has passed that made you happy and brought you joy. And I think it's a wonderful, warm feeling to reconnect with that and to bring it to surface. Because again, lives are busy. We deal in the here and now. We deal in the present. And life continues to move on. But there's always a thought, which is to just don't forget the ones that have gone before. Part of your legacy, part of your life, not to forget them and what they meant to you, and to keep a place in your heart for them. And then finally, I would like to pull a thematic card for the week where we can meditate on this thought and just get a sense of what other messages divine source or spirit wants us to know in order for us to stay in balance. Perfection. Interesting word, perfection, because fruits and vegetables are perfect, and food is perfect that is grown in the soil with your bare hands. And to me, that's pretty perfect. But to strive for perfection in life is maybe not the wisest thing, because if you're always looking to be perfect, it's never going to be perfect, and therefore you're going to feel stuck because it's not the perfect way that you're imagining. You have to let it go. You have to do your best, and you have to get things out. Get things out into the world. So if you are creative, if you make videos, if you write music, if you write books, there's no such thing as perfect, because perfect never ends. It's just the continuum of you keep working on it and working on it and working on it because it's not perfect. Well, you have to let that notion go. And so funny that this came up, because it was just in a conversation recently about perfection is the enemy of good. And so to seek perfection is something that can stifle your creativity and your progress, because you're never going to feel that it's good enough. And, you have to just do your best and then let it go. Put it out there and see what comes out of it. When we strive for perfection so much in our lives, it's exhausting, it's tiring, it's draining, because it's just chasing something that is impossible to really have. So just do your best. Another wonderful anecdote, just to share in terms of for the people who are the perfectionists out there. And it's about telling a friend that, you've gone back to school and you work a full-time job, and at night you're working until 2 a.m. to write the perfect paper. Now, whether you get the A or the C, you're still going to get your degree. You're still going to be able to get a job. And ultimately, is the time spent trying to make a perfect paper going to really make the difference at the outset? So it'd be like, listen, you get your certificate, you get your degree, you get your, exams. Do what you need to do to be able to move to the next step. Just because you get a perfect score or the perfect paper, it may get you a piece of paper from the university or from wherever, but ultimately in life, it's going to be just another piece of paper. Now, some may disagree with that and feel that you have to get straight A's in order to get into colleges and that nature, but at a certain point, you have to find the balance for yourself where you're doing a great job and probably really good is good enough versus perfect. So interesting that this came up today. So my takeaways for this reading for this week. Really, it's the non-judgmental and the listening. To try to listen to people with openness, realness, authenticity, and with compassion, and also to be aware of this, of how you speak and how you talk to others in your everyday interactions. So I hope that you found something here that helped you and that you can work on for this week. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, or comment. If you're new to this channel and you like this style of reading, please subscribe and click on the bell notification so that you can have other types of readings just sent to you easily so that you don't miss anything. And it's a great way to show support for these free readings. So I hope to see you again next week for another weekly oracle reading. Take care. Bye-bye.